What's good, cuz? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm bringing you guys another NFL video. And in today's video, we are going to be predicting the 32 quarterbacks that will be starting for their respective NFL teams in the 2021-2022 season. Who will be drafting who will be trading who, we are going to find out in today's video. So if you guys are excited, please do me a favor and drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I would greatly appreciate it. Trying to hit 700 subscribers as quickly as possible, so if you guys do that for me, that would be awesome. But without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get
Minica, watch me on Twitch, ooh, I'm streaming. I'm on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, red button beaming. Let's get that sub count, take over YouTube, ooh, we teaming. My content so high, ooh, yeah, I'm steaming. Ooh, yeah, I'm steaming, red button beaming.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. All 32 starting quarterbacks for the year 2021-2022 in the NFL. This will be the week 1 starter. So this is what I am predicting. I'm not talking about, who will start halfway down the year. If there's some rookies drafted, obviously they may sit behind some veterans come in later in the year. Maybe we'll talk about those teams, when we get there. But this is going to be the week 1 starter. Okay, so we're going to start things off with the Arizona Cardinals. We are going to go in alphabetical order. So we are going to start off with the Arizona Cardinals, and obviously that is a no-brainer. The starting quarterback for the Cardinals next year will be Kyler Murray, #1 overall pick. Gets a second year with DeAndre Hopkins. I am excited to see what they're going to do, offensively next year. Then you have the Atlanta Falcons, who I think will probably go in the draft and draft a quarterback behind, Matt Ryan. Maybe they'll sit for a year or two. I don't think they're going to be the week 1 starter next year. Could be somebody like Trey Lance. They might draft him with that pick. They have a high pick, and it's a very good quarterback class. They might think that they have a couple years left with Matt Ryan. They want to pick up a quarterback, but I think that Matt Ryan will be the starting quarterback week 1 for the Atlanta Falcons. Up next, we have the Buffalo Bills. There are some no-brainers, obviously, in this video, like Kyler Murray, and you have another one here in Josh Allen. There are a couple teams that will be, suspenseful. You don't know who it might be, but there's some that are no-brainers, like the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. And then up next, we have another obvious pick in the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to be Lamar Jackson. This man, an MVP 2 years ago. He's looking to have a bounce-back season. He turned it on at the end of the year last year. He won his first playoff game, so I think he's going to have a pretty good season next year. Maybe get back into the MVP form, maybe get back into like that top 3 quarterback discussion, top 5. You never know. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in this league, but I think Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson will have a good season next year. Up next, we finally have our first, interesting one in the Carolina Panthers. Is it going to be Teddy Bridgewater? He is signed on to be their quarterback next year, but I have a good feeling that they're going to go in the draft and draft a QB. Justin Fields was projected to go #2 early on in these mock drafts, but now it looks like he might fall down to, like #8, where the Carolina Panthers are looking to select somebody. And if they can get him at #8, I think just off the raw talent alone, they're going to go ahead and draft Justin Fields. Will he be the week 1 starter? That is, to be determined. It could be something like Teddy will play until the bye week, and then we'll see how the season's going. And if he's not playing too good, they might go ahead and start Justin Fields. That's how I feel about it. But I think Teddy Bridgewater will be the quarterback to start off the year there in Carolina. Up next, we have a couple no-brainers as well in the Cincinnati Bengals, being Joe Burrow. His second year coming off that ACL injury. He was looking good, in the first half of the season before he got injured. T. Higgins was looking like a beast. They had a very good connection. AJ Green does look like he's washed. Doesn't look like he's going to be very good, but they have a nice, reception receiver in Tyler Boyd. So a couple weapons there for Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, But I think they'll probably go in the draft and maybe draft, a guard like Penei Sewell from, I forget what school he's from, I apologize about that, but I think they're going to go in the draft, get somebody to, protect Joe Burrow, and I think Joe Burrow will have a very good second season next year with Cincinnati. Next, you got Cleveland, and you have Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns winning their playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking to win this division next year, and it's wide open. Big Ben is getting older. He didn't look good at the end of the season. He is going to be back next year. We'll get to the Pittsburgh Steelers in a little bit. You have Lamar Jackson. I think the Ravens will be more of a challenge than the Steelers next year in that division when it comes to the Browns. Obviously, they do have problems with the Steelers sometimes, but they beat them in the playoff game, so maybe they've exercised those demons. Maybe Cleveland wins the division next year, but Baker, we'll see if Odell's going to be back on the team, but he played pretty well without Odell, so maybe he doesn't really want Odell to come back, but you never know. Up next, the Chicago Bears, and this is going to be a big change. It's not going to be Mitchell Trubisky. It's not going to be Nick Foles. A blockbuster trade is going to happen, and the Chicago Bears fans, you ready for this, are going to land Deshaun Watson. This man who should have got drafted into the same draft as Mitchell Trubisky to Chicago. They will get Deshaun Watson in a trade. I think it's going to happen. At the time of recording this video, it looks like the Bears are the front runners to get Deshaun Watson, and I think they're going to pull through. And I think they're going to get Deshaun, and they're going to have a good season next year. But enough about them. Let's get to the next team in the Dallas Cowboys. And you have Dak Prescott. Will he get franchise tags by the Cowboys again? Will they make a swap there for Russell Wilson in Seattle? Add some extra picks, to get Russell Wilson there in Dallas. But I am going to go with Dak Prescott being the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys next year. We're 1/3 already into these teams. And up next, we have the Denver Broncos and Drew Lock. The Broncos don't have a great pick where they can go and get a quarterback, really, somebody they would really like. And Drew Lock's like kind of mediocre. He's like okay, but you're probably not going to win that good with him. I really don't know what the Broncos want to do. They're kind of in QB purgatory here. Do they want to move off Drew Lock? Do they want to keep him? Do they want to see what kind of potential he has? Because he has some games where he plays well, and then he has games like, what are you doing? So I really don't know what the Broncos are going to do. Unless they trade up, I really don't think they're in a position to get a quarterback where they are. So we'll see. But I think they're going to stay with Drew Lock, and I think Drew Lock will be the week 1 starter for them. Up next, we have the Detroit Lions, and for the first time in like 10 or so years, it's not going to be Matthew Stafford starting for this team. It is going to be Jared Goff starting for the Detroit Lions to start the year, but who is he going to have on offense with him? Are they going to re-sign Marvin Jones? Probably not. Are they going to get Kenny G back? They could franchise tag him, but do they even want to waste the money on him? Who knows? Will they let Kenny G walk away? Jared Goff, I don't know what he's going to be next year in Detroit. It's going to be a tough year for them. I'm predicting them to be one of the worst teams in the league next year. But Jared Goff will have a starting role there in Detroit. And next, we have the Green Bay Packers. A no-brainer, obviously. The reigning, defending MVP Aaron Rodgers had a great season last year, and it's looking to do it again. So the Green Bay Packers, obviously no questions there. We'll be having Aaron Rodgers. Up next, you have the Houston Texans, and the Houston Texans have traded Deshaun Watson to Chicago. So they had to have got a quarterback back, right? They did. Is it Nick Foles or is it Mitchell Trubisky? I think it's Trubisky. I think they're going to get Mitchell Trubisky back. Guy probably has more potential than Nick Foles. Obviously, they want to just get a quarterback back because they have a terrible draft pick. They don't even have anything in the first round this year, so they can't draft a quarterback. They're going to be in QB purgatory for a while, so they said we might as well get the the potential in Mitchell Trubisky. So that's who they get from Chicago in that trade for Deshaun Watson and a couple first round picks. So Mitchell Trubisky will be a starting quarterback for the Houston Texans to start the year. Next, we have the Indianapolis Colts, and this is a no-brainer. I don't think this guy is going to be that good next year. A lot of people think he's going to be a bounce-back season. I think he'll be pretty mediocre. He'll be middle of the pack. And you have Carson Wentz here, of course, I am talking about. He was a bad quarterback in Philadelphia the last 2 years. In my opinion, he was I think he was probably one of the worst quarterbacks last year, if not the worst. He's going to have a better offensive line and better weapons, though, there in Indianapolis. So maybe he could be a decent game manager and have a bounce-back season for himself. But that will be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts will be Carson Wentz. Then we go on to the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously a no-brainer, and Patrick Mahomes. This man's looking to get back in the Super Bowl. He wants to get that win after losing to Tom Brady. He wants his revenge. You still got Hill. You still got Kelsey. They're going to be a great team. Probably be the number 1 seed in the AFC once again. Okay, we're halfway through the teams already. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you enjoying the content you guys are seeing? If you are, please do me a favor. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. It helps the channel out a bunch, and I would greatly appreciate it. But let's get into the second half, and we have the Los Angeles Chargers, and they found a diamond last year in Justin Herbert. Nobody expected this guy to probably be as good as he was at the NFL level, and he has been an absolute stud. They found their quarterback for the future. Justin Herbert will be leading this team. Then you have the Los Angeles Rams and Matthew Stafford. I think Matthew Stafford is going to lead the Rams to being one of the best teams in the league next year. So you have the Rams starting a new quarterback. No more Jared Goff. You have Matthew Stafford. Let's see what he could do. Up next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, and obviously they're on the clock right now. With the first pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars will select QB Trevor Lawrence from Clemson, and he will be starting for them for the next probably 10, 15, 20 years. Guy is an absolute stud. I'm expecting him to bring the Jaguars team, to relevance there down in Jacksonville. Up next, we have the Miami Dolphins, and I say they're going to stick with Tua Tagovailoa, get some weapons around him, get some more, offensive linemen that are going to protect this man, let him develop a little bit. He was coming off an injury, didn't play for a while from Alabama, so I think he could have a bounce-back season next year. You don't know what his real potential is. We'll have to see. You never know, and if they don't do too well next year, you strike out, you try again the next year, maybe you get a different, quarterback down the road, but you got to give him at least one more year. Okay, we're 2/3 done with the league so far, and up next we have the Minnesota Vikings. And Vikings fans, you got a decent quarterback there in Kirk Cousins, probably a middle of the pack quarterback. You got a stud in Justin Jefferson, a stud wide receiver to go with Adam Thielen. You got Dalvin Cook. Your offense is pretty nice. You need to get a pass rusher in the draft, and you need to get maybe somebody in the secondary. One of those two. You got to fix those two issues, and you can be a good team next year. But you obviously have Kirk Cousins starting for you guys next year. He will be your starting quarterback to start the 2021 season. Now we have the New England Patriots, and who will they be starting? Will they pick somebody in the draft? They don't have a great draft pick. Will they go to trade up? Bill Belichick doesn't do that too often and select a quarterback, or will they go to look for somebody on the free agent market? Obviously, you could have Cam Newton come back, or you can go get somebody like Marcus Mariota. I've been hearing his name been thrown around a little bit about the Patriots. That is actually who I'm going to pick to start the season for them. I'm going to pick Marcus Mariota. Obviously, it could be Cam Newton. Cam Newton, is familiar with the system, was playing well before he got COVID, didn't have an off season with them, didn't have OTAs. So maybe they signed Cam Newton back and they have a good year with him. But I'm going to pick Marcus Mariota just to be a little interesting. Go with a bold take here. And I'm going to pick Marcus Mariota to be starting for the New England Patriots next year. Now we have the New Orleans Saints, and I'm predicting Drew Brees to retire. I know we saw him, with that workout video like a week ago. People thought he was coming back, trying to stay in football shape, but I think he's done. I think he played his last NFL game. So I am going to say Jameis Winston will be the starter for the New Orleans Saints next year. Don't think it's going to be Taysom Hill. Will they go in the draft though and select a quarterback maybe that could compete with Jameis in training camp? Somebody like Mac Jones. Maybe they want to trade up in the draft to go get him. Sean Payton's not getting any younger, and they still want to compete. They still got Alvin Kamara. They still got Michael Thomas. They still got a very good defense. They are over the cap a bunch, so they might want to go get a rookie who's not going to be that expensive. Maybe they go trade up and pick Mac Jones out of Alabama. That would be a good decision for them. Then you have the New York Giants, and right now I think we're stuck with Daniel Jones. We don't have a good enough pick to go get one of these really good, quarterbacks in this draft. We could go ahead and draft somebody like Devontae Smith if he falls down to us. Jalen Waddle, we got to pick a weapon for him because our wide receivers there in New York are not too good. So you got to get Daniel Jones some weapons. I don't think he's been very good anyway, but you got to give him at least like one more year, but if he's not good, I can see him getting replaced by the time this season's like halfway done. And then you have the New York Jets, and will they stay with Sam Darnold, or will they move off of him for somebody like Zach Wilson? Will they trade the number 2 pick, move back in the draft, get a weapon for Sam Darnold? That is the route I am going to go. That's the prediction I am going to make. I think they will stay with Sam Darnold. There was a number 3 pick a couple years ago. I know he hasn't been that good, but you really haven't put that much around him, and he's had a lot of culture changes, a lot of coach changes. You got to get this guy some stability, and you have a good coach in Robert Saleh who's going to, get the defense into tip-top shape. Maybe make Sam Darnold a game manager, pick somebody in the draft, pick some young talent for him to play and throw the ball to. Maybe you get something going there. But maybe they could draft Zach Wilson, trade Sam Darnold to somebody else, get some picks, and get something somewhere else. But I'm going to say Sam Darnold is your starter for 2021 for the New York Jets. Up next, we got the Oakland Raiders, and there's been a lot of talk about, Russell Wilson going to Oakland. Deshaun Watson maybe would go to Oakland. Some other players might get traded to Oakland, but Derek Carr is not the reason that this team is not a good team there I'm saying Oakland, I apologize, Las Vegas. The Vegas Raiders, Derek Carr probably kept them from being like a 6-10 team last year. He showed up offensively. He played well. He had a lot of good games. He played very well. He's in the top half of quarterbacks last year, in my opinion. Darren Waller, he's got good weapons. You got Josh Jacobs, who's going to have probably a better season than he had last year, even though he had a decent season last year. But Derek Carr plays well. They should keep him, get that defense. That's really the real problem. They need to get somebody in the secondary there, somebody who could rush the pass or something. You need to get something on the defensive side of the ball there in Vegas to help you guys out. Then we have the Eagles. I think they're going to stay with Jalen Hurts. They traded Carson Wentz, obviously, for a reason. I hear a lot of things that they're going to go draft a quarterback this year. I think that would be totally stupid. You have the 6th overall pick. Draft Jamar Chase if he's there. Draft Devontae Smith if he's there. Or draft Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts. You got to draft one of these weapons for Jalen Hurts. Let him work. Stick with him for a little bit. See what you got. If anything, you move off him next year. But right now, I think Jalen Hurts will be the starter for 2021. 6 teams left, and up next we have the 49ers, and there's been talks of Jimmy G being traded back to the Patriots, because he knows the system, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, he's staying in San Francisco. He will be the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He brought him to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I know it was based on the run game and the defense, but he's a good game manager. It's what Kyle Shanahan needs. They'll be fine. Just keep him in San Francisco, and they'll be a good team. 5 teams left, and now we have the Seattle Seahawks, and Russell Wilson is not going anywhere. If they trade him, that is a terrible mistake by the Seahawks. Even if they get Dak Prescott in return from the Cowboys, that would be a mistake. That is your franchise. He brought you the Super Bowl. You do not trade a franchise quarterback or Russell Wilson with probably 10 more years left on his career, at least 5 more years left in his prime. Do not trade him. Russell Wilson will be the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. Do not worry, Seahawks fans. You will have your quarterback and Russell Wilson there next year. Then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben did take a pay cut, so he will be the quarterback for you guys next year. Don't know what you're going to get out of him, but he will be there, so you take that as what it is. Then you have the Buccaneers, who obviously will be starting Tom Brady next year, coming off their Super Bowl win. Guy is like 43 years old, still playing like a beast, so there's no problems there down in Tampa Bay. You're playing with house money at this point. Go win another Super Bowl, probably be a playoff team, you know, with the top 1 or 2 seed in the NFC. They'll be completely fine. So we have 2 teams left, and up next we have the Tennessee Titans, and Ryan Tannehill, no surprise there, will be the starting quarterback. Don't see anything. They don't need to get a quarterback. They signed him to a deal, I think, last offseason, so he should be there for a long time. So that'll be the Tennessee Titans situation. And last but not least, we have the Washington football team. And will it be Kyle Allen or will it be Taylor Heineke? If in my opinion, I'm going to give it to Taylor Heineke. Man showed up in the playoffs. Kyle Allen did nothing in the games that he started last year. Heineke only played 1 game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who went on to win the Super Bowl, and he showed out, almost won that game. The defense could have got some more stops for him, maybe. And they gave him like a $5 million contract, something in that, you know, that range. So I think Taylor Heineke will be the starting quarterback for the Washington football team next year. But that's going to do it for me, guys. That is the entire video. That is all the quarterbacks for the 32 teams in the NFL for the next NFL season 2021-2022. If you guys did enjoy the video, please do me a favor and drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I would greatly appreciate it. Trying to hit 700 subscribers, so if you guys could do that for me, that would be greatly appreciated. Comment down below what you guys think I got wrong, who will be playing where you guys think other quarterbacks will be going, what do you think I got right. You know, obviously I'm not going to be 100% correct here. Some people might get traded to other teams. Some teams might draft other quarterbacks. You never know what is going to happen. So we'll redo this, you know, when we get closer to the season. We'll talk about the 32 quarterbacks that will be starting when we get closer to the season, and, you know, do a power rankings video or something like that. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.